Hi, peace lovers. Welcome to the Pieces Here podcast. I'm Avis Kaufsbeck. If you've spent any time listening to me practice my Kidio Compost reporting voice over these last few weeks, thank you for sticking with me. I truly hope it will be worth the wait. In a nutshell, I've fallen completely in love with this story. It's about a spunky reporter, her furry goat sidekick, and a handful of young people who have simply decided that they aren't going to keep letting us kill things. Thank goodness. And as Kitty herself would say, no one is holding a gosh darn gun. We have 13 episodes ahead of us, and I think 13 is a very lucky number here. It's the number of the divine feminine, and goodness knows we need the wisdom of women for peace. And it's a number found in the Fibonacci sequence. It's the spiral of the seashell, the face of the sunflower, and the hidden math in Da Vinci's sketches. In this story, you're going to meet smart young people who are using that same natural logic to try and heal the world. So please follow the daily podcast to get notified when tomorrow's episode comes out. And thank you for joining me on this peace journey. In today's chapter, Kitty introduces us to Doris the Pothole and the uneasy realization that something important may be shifting beneath the surface. Here is Chapter 1, Goats, Potholes, and Servers. The morning began with a small private invocation to Addie, the one presence I trusted to listen without interrupting. I whispered toward the cracked kitchen window and said, "If you're still taking requests, send clarity or caffeine. I'm not picky." No reply, just silence and the faint rhythmic clop shuffle of hooves from the goat pen. Before stepping out, I took my quick census of the self, a habit inherited from an old disaster reporter who once told me, when history breaks, your last known inventory becomes evidence you were paying attention. So, Kidio Compost, equipped as follows: boots, older, wildflowers painted on the sides, scuffed but valiant, barn jacket with corduroy collar, feed store vintage, perfect for hiding secrets and goat treats, notebook, softening at the corners, currently featuring a detailed cross-section of a rutabaga, 3 pens, non-cooperative, 1 leaking blue ink suspiciously, goat treats, already dwindling, proof that certain logistics are unavoidable. Inventory complete, I stepped into the day and unlatched the gate. The small town of Midway eased into view as I walked toward town, the way it always did, like a place trying its best to be charming in the early light before anyone could judge it too harshly. The mural of salmon on the hardware store, once vibrant, had faded into a ghostly shoal, perpetually swimming against the current of municipal neglect. The potholes on Main Street had personalities. We named them and delivered monologues at them. They were small local affairs, annoyances more than threats, each one a reminder that neglect usually starts quietly, right where everyone can see it. Then there was Marzipan. She was a tricolor alpine goat with ears like velvet spoons and eyes that possessed the terrifying horizontal pupiled wisdom of a creature who has seen the beginning and end of time and found both wanting. She trotted beside me with the purposeful gait of someone late for an appointment only she knew about. Every few steps she paused to scratch at the dirt with a pointed hoof, delivering what I'd come to interpret as her scratch fact check. When she headbutted a signpost, it meant nonsense was afoot. When she tried to eat my notes, it meant the nonsense was official and likely contained words like synergy or scalable solution. She was, in short, the best newsroom partner I'd ever had. The sun had barely cleared the ridge when I reached the town's edge, where a new beige facility loomed against the backdrop of pines. It was not merely large. It was aggressively featureless, a corporate sedative rendered in cheap concrete. Logistics hub. the council called it, as if cardboard boxes required 10-foot fences, armed guards patrolling the perimeter, and enough service to store the sins of an empire. The building hummed. Not the gentle hum of refrigeration or fluorescent lights, but the deep, resonant hum of secrets being processed at scale. It was the sound of money being made from something you'd rather not look at. I felt it in my teeth. Marzipan froze. She narrowed her gold-flecked eyes at the facility and made a low, disdainful bleat, usually reserved for leaf blowers and men who say, "I'll circle back." She scratched the dirt with unusual fury, carving an angry little question mark into the asphalt. "I know," I told her, "something's off." The assignment in my notebook was simple. Photograph Doris the Pothole on County Road 12, who had allegedly achieved canyon status. The council wanted a human interest piece about infrastructure decay, the kind of story that keeps the reader's mind firmly on local, solvable problems. I trudged toward it, but my attention snagged on a stainless steel angular pickup truck idling near the hub's side gate. It was silent enough to sneak up on your conscience and expensive enough to betray its owner's insistence on being out of sight. It didn't belong here any more than a tuxedo at a barn dance. The passenger door hung open carelessly in expensive invitation. On the seat lay a document stamped, "Rapid Response Simulation, Do Not Distribute." I didn't mean to stare. I also didn't mean to inhale in a sharp, incriminating way, but I did both. The words blurred into the morning fog, then rearranged themselves into the uneasy awareness that a logistics hub did not require response simulations, not unless the packages were explosive, the logistics involved geopolitics, or the AI was considering whether to declare war on the municipal water supply. Marzipan backed away, her hooves clicking sharply on the road as if proximity itself was hazardous. I took her cue and continued toward the canyon pothole, snapping a photo of Doris for formality. But the story had already shifted, as stories often did in Midway. Quietly, sideways, on a morning when all I wanted was a normal assignment. Back at my desk at the Midway Beacon, I submitted my 3 paragraphs about potholes. Then, near the bottom, I slipped in a single line. "Unusual security observed today at the new logistics facility. More to follow." Marzipan, perched on a stool beside me, her chin resting on the edge of the desk, extended her tongue and tapped the submit key. I considered it tacit approval. The piece published under Lifestyle, which was not where potholes or possible national security breaches belonged, but the Beacon's website had its own sense of humor. I let it go. What I didn't let go was the message that arrived an hour later from someone with a .eu domain. "We saw your article. What else do you know?" I read it twice. Before I could decide whether to delete it, a second message appeared from a username that could have been a person or a bot or an underpaid intern at the Department of something. "Please remove your comment. This is sensitive infrastructure." There was only one problem. I hadn't posted a comment, which meant someone somewhere was watching my non-comments very closely. Marzipan scraped the office floor with such alarming intensity that dust rose like a coded warning. I whispered once more toward Addie. "All right, I hear you. Something's beginning." I closed my notebook, tucked my camera into my bag, and stared toward the old gym across the street, the site of tomorrow's so-called public informational meeting about the facility. A meeting scheduled at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, which in municipal terms meant, "We do not want you to come. Please stay home. Please remain calm." I planned to attend anyway. Marzipan did too. She was already headbutting the door. And though I didn't know it yet, that meeting would be the moment everything shifted, from potholes and hooves to the first whispers of a world ready to question its weapons. For now, I tightened my coat against the wind and said quietly, Addie, stay with me. This might get weird. You've been listening to Experiment 0 of the Peace Experiments. I hope you'll join us for the next episode. My books and peace projects can be found at aviskalfsbeck.com, including the Pater the Water Dog Saves the Planet Best Friend Eco-Fiction series. For those who want to dive deeper into the peace themes we covered in 2025, I've created a 2025 recap ebook. It includes everything from Kitty Ocampo's satire debut to the deep history of the Great Disarmament. It's complimentary and available now at aviskalfsbeck.com/2025. Thank you again. Listen for the peace.